And this is Talk Music Talk with Boice. I am Boice. This is my podcast you are listening to. If this is your first time checking out Talk Music Talk, it is a weekly music interview podcast where I have long-form conversations with people connected to music from different genres and different backgrounds, both established and emerging, music therapists, music journalists, singers, singer-songwriters, and whoever else is connected to music. On this episode, I had the pleasure of speaking to singer Suzann Christine. She is someone you need to watch. That's right. She recently moved from Philly to Brooklyn. She's been busy making a name for herself. Wonderfully ambitious, incredibly talented. It was a pleasure to talk to her. She's very inspiring. Great conversation where she talks about following her dreams and not listening to other people's plans for her life. We talk about how she did that. We talk about the Philly music scene. We also get into Buddhism. Yes, Buddhism. You'll have to stick around for that. After the conversation, you will hear her recent single, Falling Tears. Here it is. Without further ado, my conversation with Suzann Christine. Enjoy. In my research of you,
yes,
me and my team,
yes,
team of one. What is it? One of your performances you did, Tina Marie's "Out on the Limb."
Yes,
I have not heard anyone cover that. Great cover. What do you know about Tina Marie?
I love Tina. I love her. She's one of them artists where my mother, she used to always play like Tina Marie and always like, the old school R&B stations and stuff like that. And I just fell in love with Tina Marie's voice. I didn't know she was a white woman or anything.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
I just knew that whoever this lady is who does these like little yodels at the end of her voice, like she's killing it. I just loved her tone and I used to just mimic her all the time. And I wasn't like, I'm not really one of those fans where it's like I know every Tina Marie song, but like any hit song, I'm gonna know the melody or something like that. And Out on the Limb just was one of them songs where it's just like, I gotta cover this song because it's such a great song. And if you can execute it well, then by all means you need to do it, right? Yes.
So was that your education, like in music, like listening to your mom's collection?
Yeah, my education, it came from a couple things. I did every music program that I could do in high school. And even outside of school, my mother, she put me in this place called the Young Performance Theater Camp, which was put on by the city of Philadelphia. And very prestigious camp. You had to audition in order to get in. And then once you got in, then you had to audition to get parts. Okay. So it was one of those kind of things. They definitely were preparing you for like if you were trying to go into Broadway or any auditions, like you're going to be prepared because you got to audition to do whatever you're trying to do. And so, I had musical theater background there. Church, I started off in church. And then, my mother and my father, they both listened to music and, I think they put me on to like the old school. Yeah.
Were you always interested in having a career in music? Is that always
No.
a thing? Okay. Well,
no.
when did that come about, or was there something before that?
I think deep down the answer is yes. Yeah. So, what happened was, people project their fears onto you, and it's so horrible.
Well, they say all advice is personal.
Seriously. And, my mother was one of them. And, people used to hear me sing all the time. And that's all I used to do. I wasn't like a sports girl or anything like that. Everything revolved around the arts. And then, I started going to high school, and because everybody kept talking about just how hard it was to do music. And, I even knew a few people who had good records. They would go into the studio. They would have these good records and record. But I've never heard them on the radio. They weren't getting like good shows and performances, and I just felt like they weren't successful at the definition that I had at that time. And you know, I just was, it kind of stirred me away from really wanting to do music. So I said, you know what? I love helping people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to go after like healthcare. And I started getting involved in the science. I like science and anatomy and physiology. And so I started going towards a healthcare career, you know, and that's what I thought I was going to do. Ended up not even doing that and ended up being in like finance. And it took me to like get a full-time job to realize that what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, this is
the finance job.
Yes. Okay. So it's just like, okay, this is not for me.
So is this the type of thing, it's time to go to bed and you're like dreading it, you wake up,
oh my God. Listen, so I got involved with the studio again. So, you know, it never left. I was always doing music somewhere, somehow. And I started doing, I started going into the studio, and I was in the studio really, really late, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And I started going to work and getting to work late, you know, or, you know, trying to get there on time and just so pooped and so tired. And I was just burning both ends of the candlestick. And, I started dreading it. I just started dreading it. I was getting depressed because I was doing something that I hated and talking to people about money that I clearly didn't have. I'm trying to figure out, like, how are you guys making all this money? Something's wrong. We got to fix this. So, you know, I finally just said, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to continue to do.
How long did that last since you were at that job?
I really wasn't there very long. I was there for about 3 years.
Oh, okay. And then,
not very long.
So what is after you transition out of that? What did you decide to do, like, musically then? Like, what do you...
At the time, so first of all, I didn't even know what beast I was getting into. Like, I just didn't even know. All I knew at the time was I can sing, I can songwrite, and somewhere within myself, I had a little faith that, you know, I could do this. And I didn't want to wake up a decade later, 30 years old, like, okay, I am not even doing what I love at all, you know? I don't know. I got into the music, decided to just continue recording. 6 months after I quit my job, I had the best show that I could. I believe that, you know, God showed me that, you know what, you did the right thing. You made the decision. Out of 1,400 people nationally, I won this contest with my first single that I put out. It was called Closed Casket. And I couldn't believe that my song won out of 1,400 people. And it afforded me the opportunity to open up for DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, Wale, all these people at Radio One Fest in Miami. They pay for my flight, they pay for my hotel. You know, I get to perform my song. They even asked me to do the national anthem. It was like a lot of different things. And, you know, that was my first time really meeting like a whole bunch of celebrities and meeting them as Suzann Christine. You know what I mean? And at that moment is when I realized, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know where the journey's going to take me, but this is it right here.
As long as you're moving in the direction that's about your dream.
But I just didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue.
Well, I feel like even you just move in the direction, because sometimes people get paralyzed by, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do nothing. And nothing happens.
I did something. I took the leap.
So what did your parents, family, friends say when you left the finance job?
I'll never, ever forget, because, you know, I was paying my mom rent and, you know, living with my mom. And I had been talking about quitting that job for like the past 2 years. And it was like after a year of being there, I was like, what the hell is happening? But yeah, my mom, I gave her a check for like 6 months rent. And I was like, I put my 2 weeks notice in. I'm quitting my job. She was like, what? Well, how are you going to make money? Everything was about how are you going to make money? How are you going to make money? How are you going to make money? Crazy thing is that I was always making money using my voice. Like even in high school, middle school, you know, I was making money. So I don't know why. I mean, I can understand it wasn't salary amount, but I don't understand why we didn't think like, okay, we can actually monetize off of this. I'm young doing this, so why can't we really do this? You know what I mean? We just didn't have the business mindset. Everybody had this conventional lifestyle. So my mom, she was very against my decisions. My grandparents, my stepfather, my dad, everybody was just, what are you doing? You know, nobody, no one was for that decision. And I just had to fight through that, you know, and show and prove some things. And I've been just showing and proving.
Because there's a courage in that, when going against what everyone else says is the right path
Most
for you.
certainly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So what happens after that? So you quit the job and you win the contest. Are you like putting out records yet?
Yeah, well, I won the contest because I put out the record. But it wasn't like, I don't even know. I'm trying to think if iTunes, I think, was around. We didn't put it out there like on that type of platform now. But what we did was eventually, I started putting out more music. iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, you know, started putting out more music and doing music videos and just trying to network. And, you know, songs were played on the radio and I was, you know, doing references and trying to get placements, you know, sometimes successful, sometimes not very successful. Even if it was like on a small level. And, you know, I built my name. You know, that's what I had to do. It was like people have to know I exist.
To purchase the music. To come to the shows. You just can't make the music and then like nothing after that.
Nope. And, you know, I had to learn like this business is a business. So you're a business. Then you have to brand yourself and, you know, websites and the money that it takes to do everything that you're trying to do. So, you know, those are a lot of learning experiences I had.
So talk about that, because you're from Philly?
I'm from Philly.
Okay, and so you've been doing the Philly music scene. Like, how do you get involved into that?
You know,
on your way?
Yeah, I always tell people to start off at those open mics and the jam sessions. You know, they change in Philadelphia. Like, there's not many that last for years and years and years. Sometimes they leave, they come back, and, you know, but you have to get involved in the music circuit. You know, get to know the DJs, get to know who's who, you know, find your way into the places that everybody in the music industry is. And then, you know, I always recommend, especially for African-American artists, to join the Recording Academy. So once you start putting out music, you have built yourself, you have a website, you know, you have all those things. I know it's a little different now, but before you could just join if you had everything showing and proving that you're an artist. Now it's, you have to be recommended or referred. So just finding out and building relationships with people who are part of the Recording Academy, because I think a lot of our goals is to eventually like win a Grammy. You know, and I don't think people realize how people win Grammys. Like, it's a voting process. And so if you're not even a voting member, you know, or finding out what it takes to be a voting member, like, we need more African American presence. So we could get the votes and, you know, put the people in front of the Grammy that deserve to get it. So yeah, I think that that's another thing, but definitely just the networking and going to the music events, music concerts, and use social media. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to just stay in Philly either, because one thing about Philly loves you once they know who you are, and then you leave. That's like, it's just a thing right now. There's no labels there, no major labels. You know, most of the major labels are either New York or LA, and then you have few that are in Atlanta. But definitely traveling and getting your buzz up and getting your name put out there is the way to go.
So what is the scene like there? Like,
the scene is pretty cool. It's a music scene there. It is so much talent. Honestly, Philadelphia is, I think it's like a talent mecca.
Yeah.
You know, we have history. So Phyllis Hyman, Kenny Gamble, you know, the Gamble and Huff. So you have the Sound of Philadelphia coming out of there. You have Patti LaBelle, Teddy Pendergrass, Jill Scott, Musiq Soulchild, Will Smith, you know, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and you know, Questlove and the Roots, you know, Black Thought. So we have this amazing history. A lot of talent comes out of Philadelphia. We have jam sessions, you know, a lot of musicians that are on the road with a lot of the A-list artists are from Philly. Okay. I mean, so you may not know unless you're into like who's playing them drums or who's playing that guitar, who's playing that bass. But if you pay attention, like there's a lot of people who from Philadelphia who are on tour. And they come home and they do these jam sessions and you can get into the mix. Okay. You know, and then of course we have the hip hop scene. You know, you have State Property Crew, Beanie Siegel, Meek Mill, you know, Freeway. All of these people are coming out of Philly, P&B Rock. Okay. You know, so I think the music scene, there is one. It's not like it's non-existent. Yeah. One thing about our music scene is that it will challenge you. Tough crowds. You will pretty much know if you're not that good. Okay. You will have an idea. I might need to go home and work on some things, unless you just have your own crew that are supporting you. But you will be challenged. It is a place to, it's like that pond that you get your tough skin built from, and then you're ready for the ocean. Okay. Yeah. It's one of those preparation places. Yeah. Like it's great for preparing you for what you need to do. Okay. And it will bring the best out of you. Yeah. You know, if you are willing to deal with, you know, the challenges and the obstacles that come along with it. You know, you got to be willing to fight and say, hey, I'm going to become the best version of myself. And, you know, I'm going to be able to, you know, be able to be one of the people who stand out from Philadelphia. Okay. Like my name will be recognized. Yeah.
Did you know this about the scene before you started being a part of it? So what are your...
The other thing is it's a lot of politics, you know, so there's like a positive side, then there's like a negative. There's, you know, a lot of... Unfortunately, our city has right now, and I think a lot of us are trying to work on it, because people are starting to realize it and seeing that we need to change some things. Yeah. So people are being very outspoken about things that we could do to change what the music scene is like in Philly. And, you know, so it's a lot of clicks, you know, and, you know, they always say it's this crab in a barrel mentality. So everybody's competing. Nobody is uniting. Okay. And so because we know that any city could be stronger with unity. Yeah. You know, it's like, listen, we need to figure out how we can start sharing the spotlight with more people and, you know, stop hating and stop, you know, it's like,
what because is meant for you is meant for you.
Exactly. You know, and there's room for everybody, you know, so, but no, to answer your question, I didn't know. I didn't have a clue of, the beast. I was getting into. I just didn't know. I just was this girl, you know, I want to sing. That's it.
So what was worst pond moment for you in the pond?
The worst pond moment is I think that I learned politics 101 like when I first came into the game. Yeah. And you know, I met some people. I didn't know who was who. You know, and it's crazy because I just don't know how you really do your research about who is who. Because you just have to find out, like, who is this and who is that and who's connected this person, who's connected and how they're connected.
Yeah.
But I think that one of my worst scenarios was just, I had somebody that I was working with. He was kind of like managing me, and we ended up having relations, and that situation turned into like a whole monster.
Yeah.
And it's just you're ignorant towards everything, and so you have to just deal with the pond that you're in. Like, well, I walked into this mess, and I'm just gonna have to figure out how to climb out of it.
So what makes you keep going through? Because like so many people, like one bad thing happens
and they stop, right?
They stop.
Oh my gosh! If I definitely could have stopped.
Yeah.
The situation that I experienced, a couple of the situations that I've experienced, I could have stopped so many times. And then also being compared, I was compared to a lot of people, and I'm like sometimes I'm a loner.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not about the whole clique thing. And, so, if you're a loner and everybody else is in cliques and they're in packs and I'm just, with God and Miss Universe.
Which is plenty.
It's plenty, right? It really is plenty. But you may not know that at the time. You're just feeling kind of like, dang. But I think that because you have this like source within you that is like leading and guiding you towards the direction, and then you have this thing in you that is like totally just knows that this is what you're supposed to do. And there's just nothing else in the world that you want to do in life besides do music, put a message out into the world, and give back to youth who are also interested in what you do. And you trying to, make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that you make, but you give them the information right off the bat. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think those are the things that just keep you going, like your faith, your trust in God, your trust in yourself. Your just knowing that you can't see yourself going backwards. Like I just could never see myself going back to a cubicle. I couldn't see myself going back to any job and being like a slave. I just can't see it. Like, it makes you feel like a slave. You're not doing what it is that you love to do. Like, and so,
Yeah. Where have you always had that in you? Like, that there a higher power, listening to that voice?
In spirituality, I come from a Christian background. And, you're instilled a couple things with Christianity. But I think a couple things that I took away was, you're made in this image, right? And then, God is supposed to be within, and, I think then also on the flip side is I was taken away that I was looking towards something that was on the outside of me too. Now, I think that there is truth in both parts. Like, there's something on the outside and there's something on the inside, but you're just all connected. But I think through the things that I went through on the music journey, I started learning a lot more about spirituality. I don't practice Christianity anymore, but there are some principles in it that I still can use. And then, I feel like I'm just more connected and closer and more. I don't know. It's just. I have a higher thinking now. Okay. My thinking is better. I don't really look. I think before when I was in Christianity, I was really looking on the outside too much and not really realizing who I was, and it's like, wait a minute, it's like how the recording just scratched. Like, wait a minute. Listen here, at some point you get so low that you don't even want to live, right? And you're just like, you're in a really dark place. But then there's this light, this really, really small light that's like, brighten up and save yourself. Yeah. And so at some point, you're like, I'm going to make the decision to save myself. What do I need to do to save myself? And it's like these choices that you got to make. These mindfulness thoughts that you have to like just tap into and redirect and start getting up and doing things scientifically that will help your chemistry. You know what I mean? Your biological chemistry. So you're like changing what you're attracting, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, you know, so that you can outlive your purpose. You know, it's like, I know I'm supposed to be here for a reason, you know, and even like it's small things like my mother, you know, they told her that she wasn't supposed to be able to have children. And then I appeared. And, you know, there's been near-death experiences that I've had. I've had multiple near-death experiences. And I just felt like, you know, I did not have to be here. I didn't have to be in my right mind. So there has to be a reason why I'm here. And then you start feeling like, man, there might be this negative energy that's really trying to do its best to get me out of here so that I don't do whatever work I'm supposed to do here on earth. And I have to complete the mission. So when you start really, you know, getting down to the point where it's like, you know, I'm going to have to search deep, really, really deep. And you do it, and then it changes things.
You have a spiritual practice?
You know, so I do practice Buddhism.
I just started.
You did? Yeah, Congratulations.
Nichiren.
Nichiren.
Yeah, I've been, is it Nichiren or Nichiren?
That's a good question because I think I mess it up sometimes.
Whichever one Tina Turner does.
Yes. Namyo Renge Kyo.
Yes, I've been doing it for a month.
It's a life-changing experience. I'm going to tell you, so I joined the SGI 2 years ago, right? And you know, I met this lady. I came out of Christianity. I said I wasn't doing anything else, right? And I was like, I just was kind of like doing away with all religion at that time. I was mad about a lot of things. I felt like I was lied to about so much. And you know, when you're evolving with your spiritual experience, I think that's the process. Like, first of all, you realize that something's missing. You're like, something's missing. I'm missing something here. Something's not right. And then you're like, I'm going to figure out what's not right. Then you start searching and digging. And then I started reading The Alchemist and I started reading The Secret. And those things totally that helped me save myself. Those things helped me save myself, right? And then once I did that, I go down the rabbit hole a little bit deeper and I start finding out some other things about what I once knew. And that killed me. That just kind of like, I just wanted everybody to get away from it. That's how I felt. You know, I'm like, this is a lie. I can't believe this. You know, because you start really getting into history. And so then you realize you get upset. You know, like, wait a minute, I'm turning people off. I don't want to turn people off, right? Because it's all love. It's coming from a place of love. But people can't receive it because it's all they know. And so it's like, you're not about to take me away from what I know. And it's just like, okay. Now you just have to be like, you know what? I'm at peace for where I am. And I'm going to let people be at peace for whatever level of spirituality they are in. So I met this lady and I was at the gas station. I'll never forget. And I'm pumping my gas. She loved my hair. Oh my gosh, I love your hair. It's so beautiful. I'm like, thank you. Black woman with these pretty gray locks. And she's just like, I'm just wondering, have you ever heard of Namyo Renge Kyo? And at the time, I just was like, no. Even though I saw the Tina Turner movie. She was like, have you seen the Tina Turner movie? And I said, yeah, I have seen the Tina Turner movie. Well, you ever seen the part where she says Namyo Renge Kyo? I was like, oh yeah, I have. She was like, well, yeah, that's that's Nigerian Buddhism, and And you might be right, Nishirin, it's horrible. I'm horrible.
I know, I should learn what I'm practicing.
Right, I mean, but you know what? As long as you're doing the practice, that's really what matters. So anyway, long story shorter, she told me to come down to the center. I came down to center. Beautiful people. I love the diversity. And then, you know, I understood science. I understood that, you know, sound and vibration and frequency. I already knew that there was something all the way tied into the universe with that. And, you know, I love that, you know, you can have your altar and you have your plant and you have your water and you chant over your water and then you drink your water and then, you know, so it's like, oh wow, like this is real. This is the real deal. And so I lie to you not. I used it a couple times. I used it for something specific one time. And I'll share. I had a court case and, it was a little situation. I could have had a record. And, you know, with the community service things that I do, it's like, I can't have a record. And, you know, so I started chanting about this situation. And at the time, I only had really two choices. One was like to plead guilty towards it or, and the other one was to plead not guilty, but then I was going to have to do community service stuff. And it was something so small, but it was like, I was going to have to deal with something. And I'm like, this is crazy. So anyway, I started chanting about it and I had never pulled out my Gehunzen. Until I legit pulled it out. I didn't have it set up, but I just pulled it out, put it on the chair, and I chanted towards it, really hard about this one particular situation.
And the Gehunzen is the scroll with Nam Myoho Renge Kyo written on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But people don't know.
And that's the short description. And so I chanted and I focused and I lied to you not that day. I'm driving towards my court date, and my lawyer calls me while I'm on my way. Hey, Suzann. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm on my way. He's like, okay, good. I just wanted to let you know that we have another alternative for you. You know, I know the prosecutor up here, and you know, we're going to you could either do the other two deals or you could take the deal where basically, you know, you would just have to pay this $750 fine because everything's all about money. Luckily, you know, I had money. But it was like, you know, you pay the $750 fine, but you won't have any record and you won't have this and, we'll take it all the way down to this and we're gonna, we'll probably get this other thing off too. And I was like, he was like, so what would you want to do? And I was like, what would I want to do? Oh, we're going to go towards that one, right? So then I get into my what do you call it? The courtroom. And, I walk in, how I look, you know, I'm an artist. So I come in as an artist and the judge is like, well, hello, Miss Henry, you know, now what is a pretty girl like you have this going on? And so, you know, my lawyer's like, well, you know, cause I don't know what to say. I'm like, how do I explain this? Well, you know, whatever. So he's like, you know, Miss Henry is an artist and she's around people who do this. And, you know, so, you know, that's really what it is. He was like, oh, she's an artist. You look like an artist. And I'm like, thank you. And he was like, well, what kind of music do you do? And I'm like, oh, I do R&B, you know, a little special pop and soul. Oh, yeah. Well, what name do you go under? I'll check you out. And then he was like, well, we're going to remove this and we're going to remove that. Just pay the $750 fine and you're good to go. Thanks, Miss Henry. And I just was like, okay.
I guess chanting works.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm really mad at myself because I knew at that moment it worked. And then there was a couple other instances I really chanted hard about things and it worked. But I got lazy. Oh, you know, my cousin would sit there and it just dust and I was barely chanting. Now, you know, even with this move to New York, like I had to really, I said, you know what, I have to pull myself together. Because a lot of times you know information, but you're not utilizing it. So sometimes it's time to apply. And that's what we have to do. A lot of us know information. A lot of us know exactly what we need to do, but we're not applying it. We have to apply it. And I call her my Buddha mom. She put the pressure on me one day, you know, and she knew I was trying to do a lot of things. She's like, we're getting up in the morning at 7:30 a.m. We're chanting for an hour. And I'm like, okay, I'm down, you know, and I'm going to do it. So now, even if I probably missed a day this week, but I said, I'm going to, even if it's like I'm in a car driving for 5 minutes, or if I'm in the shower somewhere, I'm going to find a time to get it in. I have to get some time in with it, but it really does work. That vibration is real. So, you know, now that I'm up here, you know, I have to find the Buddhist center.
There's one on 15th Street.
In Manhattan. So I need to go. I heard it's beautiful.
It is. It's crazy. Because as you were talking, I'm thinking, okay, this sounds like Buddhism she's talking about. Because it's like, I grew up with a Christian background too, but what I liked about the Buddhism is that we have all this power inside of us, and that we can utilize this power here on earth as opposed to waiting and heaven will be rewarded, which is wonderful. I want both. Why not both? But I like that we carry all this power in us, and we don't even realize it.
Exactly. And you want to be able to tap into the energy source, and you want to be able to connect, and you want to be able to just naturally allow people to help you. You know what I mean? Like, the people that you need to help you achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve will naturally just come.
And I've been doing it for a month, and I notice like people are like falling over themselves to help you. It's crazy. And so now it's just, I don't even know how to utilize some of them all the time. It's like, I'm going to use you, so just stay here. Don't go anywhere, because as soon as I'm ready, I've been doing a lot of stuff. I got you. Because I know you want to help me. You've been serious about helping. So it's an amazing practice. And then, you know, but I won't necessarily call myself like just, I'm a Buddhist. That's not my only thing, because sometimes, you know, I still honor my ancestors and I do some of those practices. So, you know, it's just utilizing what has been given. You know what I mean? So have you read Tina Turner's most recent book, My Love Story? That's what inspired me.
Really?
So the Tina Turner book, My Love Story, came out last year. That was I knew she did Buddhism. But this was the thing that
really helped lead you towards
I'm going to try. Because it's pretty amazing that before her comeback, right? She was chanting, right? That got her out of her marriage, but she wanted to headline stadiums and arenas like the Rolling Stones. Would you think that's crazy? A middle-aged black woman selling out stadiums and arenas, and she hadn't had a record deal in like 5-6 years, and hadn't had a hit longer. Like, what made her think
that she was going to be able to do such a thing, right?
And she found the right management who believed in that, and a year later, she's selling out. She played
1 year later.
It was like 180,000 people she played to in Brazil.
Whoa.
First woman to do it.
Wow. But I mean, I'm sure she had the hits though already, right?
That was right after the,
Yeah, she had the hits.
She had the hits. When she did that. But before she had the hits, that was her vision.
Wow. That's so beautiful. You know, the lady who, introduced me to Buddhism, that was what really sparked me. She said, well, Tina Turner, you know, she was blackballed from, you know, things that were going on in her career, you know, with her marriage. People, you know, didn't want to work with her because of, you know, the ties or whatever. And she was like, she overcame being blackballed by using this practice. That really resonated with me, because I had went through the same thing when I went in that pond, and I said, what was the nastiest part of the pond? You know, when I got into that situation, somebody tried to literally blackball me from my career before I even really got started. And, you know, I'm like, wow, you know, that's amazing. So now people, when they see me, people who know my true story, they're like, nothing's stopping you. You're just going, like, you're just like you working out here. And I'm like, yes, I'm working out here. Like, there had no one monkey stop my show, you know, period. Gotta keep it going.
I hear you.
So I'm just out here just flowing with the universe, and we just do. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you have the new single out.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about the new single.
Falling Tears. It is out and available on all streaming outlets. And, it's been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are loving it. We have a Falling Tears challenge out right now. So if people go and click on the link on my bio, they can have a feature with Suzann Christine. So they can just go on. There's a YouTube link that has an open verse in the beginning of the song. So people have been doing the Falling Tears challenge and coming up with their own verse to the song. And I'm enjoying watching those. And, I got a chance to perform it on the Q show on Fox 29 in Philly. Okay. I did the Universal Circus and premiered it there for the first time I performed it. And, this is a real hit. People love this song. So, I'm hoping it's, what my goal is to see this song, top the charts. Like how Ella Mae's Boot Up song did. Okay. People didn't know that song was out for a while, a whole year before it started really coming into mainstream. So, I'm really going to be pushing that song. I'm probably going to release some other material. Okay. But that's just going to be the song that I'm going to be really.
Well, it's a great song. And the video is beautiful too.
Thank you. Yes, I shot that in Philadelphia and Los Angeles. Yep.
Okay, great. So now you're here in Brooklyn, New York, ready to kill it.
Yes.
Best place for people to keep up with you online?
Best place is to find me, Suzann Christine, everywhere. So Suzann is spelled very unique. Suzann, no E, guys. No E. You're going to automatically put that E. Something in your mind or the phone is going to do it. So Suzann, no E, Christine, Christine. That's my website. So SuzannChristine.com. I'm Suzann Christine on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's very important as artists to be consistent across the board. And also my hashtag on Instagram is SUDAT. Okay. So that's SUDAT, and that stands for spiritual, unique, divine, artistic, and thankful.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm glad we connected. This
Same.
was meant to be.
Most certainly.
Yes. Thank you. And good luck with everything.
Thank you. Same to you. I appreciate it.
Never felt this way before. It's like half of me is missing and the other half needs fixing, baby. Why'd I let you walk through the door? Now I wonder who you're kissing. If you're out there, hope you're listening, because I want you. Want you. And I need you. Need you. And you know I got to have you, 'cause without you I can't pull
And that was Falling Tears from Suzann Christine. Make sure you check her out online. Her website, SuzannChristine.com. And do not add an E at the end of Suzann. I am online at talkmusictalk.com. For more podcast information and to stream every single episode, you can follow me on Instagram at This Is Boice, and some call to actions for you. If you enjoy this episode with Suzann, please share it on social media, email it to a friend, leave a 5-star rating and or review wherever you happen to be listening, especially on iTunes, because this all goes to help to spread the word about Talk Music Talk. There is also a Talk Music Talk app. It is free for iPhone and Android, and you can get it wherever you like to get your apps, or you can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Let's just say everywhere. Just search for Talk Music Talk, and you can also find the podcast on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/This Is Boice. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, and there will be a next time. This one's for you, Liz.